Today we're taking a look at this double crochet chain combo stitch. It's really quite simple. We're just creating chains and double crochets to get this great open work bar effect. All you need to learn is a double crochet stitch in a chain, and that's all you're going to need to know to work this stitch. So let me walk you through it step by step. I've already got a little sample here begun with a row of double crochet. So your first row is just one color, double crocheting into every chain. And then at the end of this row, I'm going to change colors. So I'm actually going to fasten off my work. So I'm just going to cut, leaving approximately a 6-inch tail. Cut my yarn and then just draw up a loop and pull it all the way through. And that just secures my tail. Now I'm going to turn my work before I begin my next row. And for row 2, I'm going to join my new color. So I've got my dark gray here, and I'm just going to join that into my first double crochet. So make sure you don't work into that little knot, which is your fastened off yarn. I'm just going to pull up a loop there. So now that I've joined my next color, I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to count as a double crochet stitch. So that means I'm not going to work into that same space again. I've already got my double crochet, so I'm going to work into the next space. And I'm going to work 1 DC into each of the next 10 DCs. So I've got that one. I'm not working into this space because I've already got my chain. And now I'm going to work into the next one. And I'm going to do that 10 times. So there's 1, 2, 3. If you need a refresher on the double crochet stitch, it's yarn over hook, insert your hook into your stitch, drop a loop, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops on hook, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops. That's your double crochet stitch. Okay, now let me go back and count here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need to work 3 more. So now I've got 10 double crochet stitches plus my turning chain, which counts as a DC, so I've got 11 double crochet stitches. Now my pattern repeat begins, and that's chain 10, skip next 10 DC, and 1 DC in each of next 10 DC. So I'm going to do that by chaining 10. And then I'm going to skip the next 10 DC from my previous row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And place my thumb on the 11th one because I know that's the next stitch I have to work into. And I'm going to work 10 double crochets. Now if I had a wider piece, I would repeat that along, that chain 10, skip next 10 DC, 1 DC in each of next 10 DC. but I've just got this short piece for our example. So when you're finished your last repeat, you'll have just one DC left, and you're going to work one DC in that DC. It's actually your turning chain from your previous row. So it's the top of a chain 3. So there is our second row. And at the end of this row, I'm going to fasten off again. So I'm going to get my scissors, cut, fasten off, because now I'm going to join my light gray shade again. So for my third row, I'm going to join my new color, the slip stitch, to my first DC. Make sure you don't work into that knot, and just leave a tail of about 6 inches to weave in later. So now I'm going to chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So what that does, I'm going to count that as, I'm going to count the first 3 chains as a double crochet stitch and then a chain 10. From there, I'm going to skip the next 10 DCs. So I'm skipping this big band of DCs that I made in the previous row, and I'm going to work 1 DC in each of the next 10 chains. So I'm skipping all these DCs, and I'm going to work into this chain 10 here. Now, often in patterns, you're working into a chain space, and that would mean I'm just going to insert my hook right under the chain. But in this pattern, we want a little more stability, so I'm actually going to work into the chain, not around the chain. So I'm going to yarn over hook, insert my hook into that chain, drop a loop, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops. And I'm going to make a DC stitch in each of those chains. The difference between working into the chain and working into the chain space is that these stitches are anchored to something. They're anchored to that chain. If I was working around the chain and just in the chain space, I could slide those stitches back and forth and they could bunch up. It's just a different look. Plus, since we have changed colors, I've got this nice little band of my contrast color at the base of my double crochets. So I'm almost finished here. I think I have one more. Let me go back and check here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's easy to work into your first double crochet of this group rather than the last chain space, or last chain. So don't be afraid to count. So now that I've worked my 10 DCs into that chain, then I'm going to chain 10. Skip those next 10 DCs, that next group, and when I'm at the end of my row, as I am, I'm just going to work 1 double crochet stitch in the last DC, 1 DC in last DC, and in each case it's actually the top of your chain 3, which is your turning chain. So that's it for our third row. I'm going to fasten off again because we're going to join our contrast color. So cut the yarn, just pull that loop through to secure, turn your work. We're always turning the work at the end of our row. It can be tricky when you fasten off, but remember, if your yarn tail is at the right, then you're in the right position to begin your next row. And I'm just going to begin my 4th row by joining a new color to the first DC. Okay, joining with a slip stitch. Now for the fourth row, I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and again, that counts as a double crochet. And then I'm going to work 1 DC in each chain, or each of the next 10 chains. Just remember to take your time and work into the chain and not the chain space. And you don't even really need to count because you're just going to run out of chains. I do, however, like to count just to be sure that I haven't worked into a double crochet instead of, instead of my last chain. So here I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 double crochets, 11 double crochets when I count my turning chain 3. So now I'm going to chain 10. And you can see how this is going to repeat because this is setting up my foundation for the DCs I'm going to work in the next row. So I'm going to chain 10, skip these 10 DCs, and then work 1 DC in each of the next 10 chains. So that's the pattern repeat. Again, if my piece was wider and it repeated more, I would repeat until I get to the end of my row. And let's see if I have 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more, so that's 1 DC in each of next 10 chains. And then to finish off this row, we're going to make 1 more DC in the next chain because this whole section is a chain, but we need to leave those last couple of chains unworked to count as a double crochet stitch to get that height. So that's the 4th row. And if you repeat the 3rd and 4th row over and over, that's what will give you something that looks like our finished piece here. So we've just got sections of double crochet and chains that are creating these nice spaces. It's essentially reversible. It's not exactly, but it looks quite nice on both sides. And that's it for our DC chain combo stitch.